Welcome once again to How to Relate to Anyone. Here is Dr. Orv Owens.
Well, today we're going to talk about conquering fear, or being in a position to recognize fear motivations, and because we recognize them, fear goes away. It's, you can't be afraid of something when you know it's fear, because fear is always a projection. There's no reality to it. It's what might happen, but then something opposite of that might happen too. Maybe the good will happen. Well, let's focus on that. And in fact, if you focus on the positives, normally the positives will win out over the negatives, and the fear motivations will dissolve or go away, fade away. All fear is always a projection. You can't be afraid of something that happened last year this time. You have to realize that's past and flush it and forget it. So there's no reality to fear. It's always what might happen. Hasn't happened yet. And so as a result, it's creativity. It's a negative creativity that we fall into real easy. It's easy to fall into because it's just one little thing or one little thought or one little comment by somebody, and all of a sudden these fears start happening, and fear creates fear, and pretty soon it generates terror and all the other things below the line that we covered in earlier lessons. And so the way to go down below the line fast is to entertain fear. And how do you stop entertaining fear? Well, you do it by positive repetition, by prayer, by faith, by belief that you can achieve whatever the attack is. You have to first take a step back and say, what can I do to make sure this negative will not happen in this situation? Helping clients and employees overcome their fears is what leadership is really all about. Because people become highly productive when they no longer have fears. They take the risk of trying something they've never tried before, put it out there, and give a little more energy to something. In sales, when the fear is gone, then the reason for not buying is gone also. When fear is gone, then the person starts focusing on the positives of what this product or service that you are offering is going to do for them today, in the near future, and in the long haul. And so the importance of creating a positive environment that conquers fear motivations is vitally important as a manager, as a salesperson, and just as a human being and in your own life. Most fears are related to past failures. Here I go again. Have you ever said that one? That's not a pleasant one to say. I tried this once and it didn't work for me. And so it's borrowing from past failures. And what we should learn from past failures is what we did wrong and what we can correct so that we don't fail the second time around. That's the idea of personal growth and personal development, is when you can literally reach down into your thought process and come up with ideas to avoid making the same mistakes that you made in last time going through this. And so, because you do have repetition in life, we have circumstances and situations that come around that are very similar to other situations we've had, and the ability to fail to make the mistakes, fail to allow fear to hold us back from doing the right things, should be what we call a growth posture. It's becoming more mature, it's becoming more proficient, it's becoming more professional in your career field. All experience is valuable, both positive and negative, successes and failure. We learn from everything. The problem is too many of us carry the failures, the mistakes, the times we fell short into our now thought process of what if I can't do it again? What if I make the same dumb mistake? What if? When you start doing the what ifs, now you're projecting negatives. And when you project negatives, it's called negative faith, believing for the worst, and it'll probably come true. It's amazing how often we talk ourselves into mistakes, talk ourselves into failure, talk ourselves into not achieving what we are capable of achieving. And then afterwards comes the great disappointment. I think I should have taken advantage of that. I should have. I have so many people who've talked to me about things they should have done. You probably have a few things yourself. I wish I could do that or have that opportunity once again. If only I'd taken advantage of that. There's very few things in my life that I haven't taken advantage of or done that I wanted to do. And sometimes I've failed bad. And sometimes I've been highly successful. Sometimes I've regretted even doing it, and other times I look back on it as a very positive thing in my life. All experience is valuable, and so we play off of our experiences. We learn and grow and turn natural ability into capability by recognizing possibilities and growing with those. As a leader, make sure your employees and clients, if you're a salesperson, understand that there's nothing wrong with making mistakes as long as you make corrections. Some people in purchasing a project or a product or whatever are afraid they're going to blow it, make mistakes. Yeah, you'll make a few mistakes, but then that's how we learn sometimes. Sometimes the best teacher is experience. So, overcoming the debilitating fears that hold us back is more important than worrying about making a mistake. Because you will make mistakes, we all do, because unless you're perfect, and I don't know anybody who is, you'll make some mistakes. But mistakes are a learning experience, and they make you more proficient and professional and more productive because you don't make the same mistake twice. And the person who's not making any mistakes is in a career field where they can't miss. Just everything's so perfect. You know, show up, go to work, get paid, go home. Zero creativity, all routine type work. And the problem with routine type work, it's boring. It never causes you to grow. You never have the satisfaction of developing new talents, new abilities, and new capabilities. And so an increase in productivity requires trying new things, new approaches, new products, new tools. I mean, companies are coming out with new tools all the time. And driving the cars of today, most people just don't have the tools that it takes to even work on your car. That's how much they've developed. And so with all those new developments, there's new tools. And you don't have the tools, so let the professionals handle that kind of thing. Understand that success in anything is putting yourself out there where you are walking on thin ice, you're trying something new, trial and error, making corrections, being open to suggestions, coaching, read as much as possible on the subject, whatever it is. Preparation is great. And you can prepare for whatever your project is by being aware of what's available in the area of coaching and instructions and ways to do things. It saves you a lot of money and a lot of time if you read as much as you possibly can before you try a project. An increase in productivity requires trying new approaches or new things that you've never done before, or maybe have never been done before. That's the way inventions are created. That's the way new systems are developed. And then you encourage your employees to do the same thing on their own level. Get creative. You see something that might work a little better than what we're doing? Let's try it. I'll back you up on that. I'll give you the leeway to make a few mistakes, maybe even cost the company some money, but trying something just a little different that might work better, might create a whole new level of productivity. Who knows? And I'll tell you this, if you come up with a new thing that's going to save the company money, I'll guarantee you there will be some rewards for that also. There's always rewards for creativity. And so you have to encourage new growth, new personal growth, new personal development, new exploring what's possible out there. And when you do that, you have a vibrant, alive company, a live organization that has high energy, and their energy just carries the day, so to speak. Fun to go to work in those situations, in those circumstances. Well, what's the worst thing that can happen if you fail? What's the worst thing that can happen if you succeed? Same question, because you go into something with the idea of succeeding, and if you fail, you either do it over, learn from the mistakes and make corrections. If you can look at a project or a job or a situation that requires something new, a new approach, sit down and do some calculations, do some thought processes, do some creative thinking, and then start applying your creative thinking. And when you start applying your creative thinking, you're going to find the happiness that comes from being creative. But more than that, you might hit on the answer of the ages. Who knows? What's the best thing that can happen as opposed to the worst thing that can happen? Most people go into a project with, well, the worst thing that can happen is, I don't like that. I like to go into a project with, the best thing that can happen is, if we do everything right, we could be able to do this. Well, did you know that every fear motivation is a projection and there's no reality to it? No reality. So my professional advice to you, once again, it's same as it's been all through this program. Stop it. Just stop giving up before you try. Stop giving up halfway through the project. Stop giving up even when it fails. Take the lessons you learned and go at it again. Might take you 10 tries, but the rewards are great. I challenge you to be a creative person, and creativity makes you a productive person. And productivity brings great happiness, can bring wealth in many cases, but more than anything else, it brings great productivity and touches a lot of lives.